Welcome to Mimir, the podcast for ambitious entrepreneurs who want to launch and grow a successful business from day one. I'm your host, Maddie Kelly, and each week I sit down with founders who have been there, done that. We dive into the mindset, strategies, and practical tools you need to turn your vision into a reality. So let's get to work. Hey guys, welcome back to Mimir. Every founder knows that community is important, but building one from scratch without funding and without an already loyal group of Instagram followers is a lot easier said than done. Speaking from years of being an influencer wannabe, I can say with the utmost level of confidence that this is in fact one of the hardest problems to solve when it comes to building your business. Interestingly, we've all seen how influencers sort of reverse the traditional playbook. Like they build a community first and then whatever they sell works because people trust them. So we know the community is valuable, and I really wanted to give you guys an in-depth, into-the-weeds conversation with somebody who's actually pulled it off. So I sit down with Elina Panteleyeva, the founder of Dood Woof, an e-commerce brand for doodle dog owners, to unpack exactly how she built a high-converting, hyper-loyal customer base with no outside funding, no big audience, and no prior experience in e-comm. Interestingly, Elina didn't launch a product and then go find people to buy it. She found people first, she listened to them, and then she built something with them, not just for them. In this episode, you guys are going to learn the tools you need to apply this to your own businesses. Everything from the simple outreach tactic that helped Elina turn total strangers into her first superfans, how to use Instagram DMs and Facebook groups to build your initial list, to why documenting the process is key to community trust, and how to turn followers into buyers. We also get real about what it's like to bootstrap a business, from the emotional toll of building without a safety net to the tactical how-tos that helped Elina stay a full-time entrepreneur. And finally, one of my favorite parts of our conversation centered around why believing in yourself sometimes comes after you start, not before. So if you've been feeling stuck trying to build an audience or wondering why no one's engaging with your product, this is a must listen. So, Elina, thank you so much for being here today. I am so curious to talk about how you built Dood Woof. Like, there's just so much nuance here when it comes to building a community. It's such an important part of business. It's something that I have been trying to crack the code on for a really long time. So I'm really excited to pick your brain about all that good stuff. But before we dive into that, I would love to sort of like if you could walk me through your journey of how you got to where you are today. And then let the people know what that looked like. That would be great.
Definitely. Excited to be here, first of all, and chatting with you. So I got laid off from my job. I was working in tech in March 2023-ish.
What were you doing in tech?
I was like a project manager.
Okay.
Kind of jumped around.
Yeah.
Last place was like this AI company.
Okay.
So got laid off, and at that same time I found this book called 12 Months to 1 Million. And I picked it up and I started reading it, and I was like, oh, this makes so much sense. I've always wanted to start a business. I kind of just followed like the corporate culture. So there wasn't, but I felt like this was like the universe basically telling me, you got laid off. Like this is like your time to do it.
Yeah.
And then when I read that book, it just so happened to come at such a good time. But it made a lot of sense to me. And the book was based on e-commerce, like how to start an e-commerce business. But it really talked about serving your audience. So that's like the main thing of it. And the way that your business makes money is by selling products. So, and formulaically, how it was all laid out made sense to me. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to do this. So then the way that it's structured is, and the way that I built my business, it's choosing your person, like your audience first. Like, who do you want to serve before you choose your product? And so I decided to go with doodle owners because I have a doodle, and anything mixed with a poodle is a doodle. I'm like, it's niche down enough, but there's a big enough market. And I had no money. So everything from there on, I had to just do as like finesse my way through it and just think out of the box, because I didn't just have all this money to throw into paid media. So I Yeah, so I went into my first thing that I did was I went into Facebook groups of doodle owners and I
Okay.
posted in there and I was like, "Hey, would anyone be willing to talk to me about your biggest challenge of having a doodle?" And so talked to some people. Those actually became the first people in my community, my audience. But I really built my products based on what they said their biggest challenge was.
Okay, so okay, interesting. This is kind of like research first and then like through that audience building and then product, which I think makes perfect sense when you put it like that. But I have one question before I ask you more. Tell me about your dog.
About my dog,
Yes.
he's great. He's like the cutest, sweetest boy ever. And he's the
What's his
perfect.
name?
He's Oscar. Yeah, his name's Oscar. He's a
Oh,
Bernedoodle. He's the CEO of the company. He keeps me. Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so when it came to like reaching out to people, this was all just like had was it through Instagram? You like saw their profile and then they had a dog and you were like, "Oh, I'm gonna message this person," or like where did that start from?
It started from literally there's like a million Facebook groups, and I
Yeah.
personally I don't really use Facebook groups until now.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that use Facebook groups. So I just typed in doodle owners, and there's a bazillion Facebook groups with like hundreds of thousands of people. And I just posted in there like, would people be willing to hop on a 15-minute Zoom call with me? Like, I just want to hear about the challenges of having like your doodle. And a
Yeah.
bunch of people before a lot of them got taken down because they thought I was promoting, which kind of was. But my post, but
Okay, there.
before it got taken, I was able to connect with a bunch of people, and we hopped on like a 15-minute Zoom call. And really just chatted with them. And the biggest challenges of having a doodle, so they said, was that their dog gets matted really easily. They're high energy, and so like they don't really know how to alleviate that
Yeah.
energy. Super smart. So I went with the first one. The biggest one that I heard was that they get mad at easily. I took and I put that into Chat GPT, my dear friend, and I
Same.
was like, yeah, and I was like, hey, so I want to start a brand for doodle owners. The biggest challenge is that their dogs get mad at easily. What are some product ideas to like help with that? So the first thing it like gave me a list of a bunch, but one of them was a dog detangler spray. So I looked at what's in the market and I saw that all of them were filled with ingredients I couldn't pronounce and just like chemicals. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to create a dog detangler spray, market it towards doodle owners, make it really clean and make it the best one in the market.
Yeah.
And that's how it started.
That's I love this because like it's a great repeatable process that especially I think people get really they get nervous about starting a business because it seems like really expensive and it's hard to do, but like your story makes it seem so approachable and like you can do it on a budget and you can do it, intelligently. So, to dive into a little bit more like what it means to really build a community, I think the first thing that people do is like, "Oh, I'll just post on social media."
Mhm.
And like obviously I think you did more than that to get such like a dedicated community of people, what is it over like 32,000 members that you have now?
Mhm.
So like maybe, walk us through what some of those maybe unconventional channels or like what tactics it was that you really spent time developing to grow your community and like also I kind of want to know like how long everything took.
Okay. Yeah. So community is the base. I always say community and reviews are the backbone of the
Mm,
company. Like, can't do anything without that.
yeah.
So again, bootstrapping everything. There was a bunch of big brands that have a ton of money. So I was like, okay, I have to do something to get people to really want to buy into what I'm doing. And also, I only had so much money in my bank account. So I had to make sure that when I launched this product, um, it was going to sell. And
Yeah.
so a lot of people launch a product and then they find people to buy. I kind of took the different approach. So I started building and what I call it documenting my journey. So I would post on social, but I would post like, hey, like here's label design, like here's the first version of the label design. What do you guys think? I talked
Mm,
about challenges, like I don't know how to put anything on Amazon. I'm going to YouTube University currently. and figuring it out. And I'd just post about that on social. And then I would also my goal from Instagram, I don't have a big following. Like for the size of my business, my following is tiny,
Yeah.
but I my goal with Instagram is to get them into my email list. And
Yeah.
so my email list is where I can really dive in. So everything that I posted, I was like, learn more in my email, trying to get them there. And then I would really dive in in, in my email list.
Yeah.
The other kind of unconventional thing is most people just post on Instagram. There's this saying where it's if someone sees you in three places, they trust you more. So if
Mm.
someone, for example, if someone sees you at work, you're just like a colleague. If someone sees you at work and then happy hour, they kind of know you a little better. But then if you see them at a party, then they start considering you a friend. So I was like, all right, I gotta somehow get people in three places. So I'll get my traffic source will be my Instagram, email as well, convert them to sale. And
Yeah.
then I'm also going to create a Facebook group where it's just like people can chat and I'll post things. I won't try to sell in there, but like it'll just be like people can go here. So that way they see me in three different places, build more trust.
Yeah.
That's my
For your
strategy.
Instagram, like, how did you get people to convert? Because I feel like that's such a challenge to like get them to go from Instagram, see a post, like it, read the caption, be
Yeah.
like, oh, I need to go to the email, which I assume like what is linked in your bio, and like click that and then sign up. There's like a lot of points in that where I feel like people could get lost. So how are you incentivizing them to follow through?
It's a good question. I kind of forget how that is absolutely challenging. Let's see. So I'll tell you what I did then and what I would do now
Yeah.
differently. So back then, I I wanted to build one-on-one connections with people, even though it's through Instagram. Even
Mm-hmm.
though it's through Instagram. So I wanted to build one-on-one connections with people, even though it's through Instagram. I So I would DM them, or actually in the beginning, told people to DM me pictures of their dogs, and I would make memes with them, and it would just be like
Genius.
the whole point of that was that they're like, oh, this, like, they'll remember the brand, their dog's featured in. If you scroll down in my profile, you'll see it. My dog's featured in this like picture on their page. Like it's just funny. The memes are kind of funny.
Yeah.
So that was one way. What I do now, and I'll forever do this. Now someone on my team does this, but every single person that follows me, I consider them a lead. They're half of them, most of them aren't customers, but they're like a warm lead. So we DM every single person that follows us and ask them why they followed me. And you'll be surprised how many sales I get from that. So we'll be like, hey, did you follow me because you like my content, or do you struggle brushing your dog? So many of them follow me because they struggle brushing their dog. They just haven't bought the product. So I'll be like, hey, like totally get it. We actually have this detangler spray. Like if you're interested, happy to send you 15% coupon. And then what's your email? And
Yeah.
so the amount of people that follow but don't actually go to sale until you get that little push at the end, and they want that push.
Yeah.
Is insane. So what I would do now is I would DM every single person that follows you or anyone and
Yeah.
just talk to them.
Wait, okay. I feel like this is such like a B2B SaaS tactic.
Really?
And I live for this because my 9 to 5 is B2B SaaS. And so I feel like we talk about, and I'm in marketing. So like the sales like tactics I'm very close with. And this is so fun to me. Like I love it when people run an e-commerce business like a digital product. I think it's just like you see so much better returns, like things make a lot more sense. It's much more I feel like all your bases are covered when you think about it like a digital product. So to treat like a B2C style like you have like a digital product is so fun. And to think about, people who it's almost like equating if somebody follows you to like engaging with content on your website, or like, this person is a lead because they attended, an event or something like that. And then to like go after them through those sales tactics, I think is so, so smart. Did that come from your tech background?
No, what's really cool about starting this business is a lot of things just I hear the right things at the right time, it seems like, or I meet the right people. So I heard this from somewhere or something, and then I started implementing it slowly and testing it out. Same with like that traffic source, what I was talking about, the 3 places. I didn't
Yeah.
make this up. I heard it from somewhere, but it came like at the right time. And it
Yeah.
maybe was related to something else, but I'm like, hey, like I'm gonna try that. Um, but yeah, that's interesting that you compare it to a B2B business. I really just try to, because it's a small company, and the thing with niching down, first of all, is, and having like a raving fan base, which is what I'm trying to build, is you don't need that many people to actually be following and like into your brand, right? Like if you have 100 people in the beginning that absolutely love your brand and you launch something to them, and they all 100 of them leave reviews, 100 of them like leave a video review, etc. Like on Amazon or wherever you're getting reviews, like that's a ton of reviews. That's all you
Yeah.
need to really start that snowball. And then you can keep launching products, different products to that same group of people. And so that's always my goal, is to get like a portion of people really, really like connect with them deeply, so that they always want to buy from me, support me. And I just like, I'm able to serve them. And then
Yeah.
other people will just kind of snowball from there.
Yeah, 100%. I was literally talking to somebody about this yesterday where, like, it's a really interesting time to be alive and in business, because you see that I think whereas before people were really focused on like hyper growth
Hmm.
at any cost, and now it's much more about like a more targeted approach where you can be very, very comfortable with serving 100% of your, you know, target audience in a way that's like they're just a dedicated group of individuals, but they are like your biggest champions. And with that, like it serves your business really, really well.
Hmm.
And I think we kind of started to see this a little bit interestingly with like influencer culture. If you see those people, they have like, a couple thousand people who follow them who are literally obsessed with them. Like they're on their profile all the time, they're following their every move. And then the second that they drop something, it's immediately sold out. And it seems crazy, but it's just because they're super invested like in that person and they're willing to show up for them. And for to have a community driven business allows these sorts of situations to thrive really well. And then for you, you can just like, it's great because you have dedicated product reviews. So you're always getting information about what your customers actually want. You know what they're going to buy because of that. And then when you do drop a product, they will buy. And then sort of like this self-fulfilling, like positive feedback loop.
Yeah, agreed. And it's a big part is documenting your journey. So through all of product development, and this isn't just e-commerce, but like anything, if you're selling a service, if you're selling, in my opinion, like tech too, like documenting like all the good, the bad throughout the journey, getting people on board so that when you actually launch, they want to support you. They want to
Mm.
support your brand. Versus, and having a launch plan. Like I think a lot of, especially ecom people, like they'll just put a product up and they'll be like, hey, and all the emails will be like, here's 20% off, buy. And it's like, I don't know who you are. Like, why would I
Yeah.
randomly buy your stuff? But if, it's, they document like, hey, I'm building this like bone broth and I'm sourcing this from here. Today I want to check out this place in Ireland to source this magnesium. I'm literally making this up. And then you're like involved in the journey. And then when it launches, you're like, oh hell yeah, like I'm excited for this. I'm gonna, like, it's $20. Okay. Like I'll check it out and see how it is. And then they follow up with you and they're like, hey, I just want to make sure you really like this product. I only want you to buy a product that you genuinely like use and love. And then they tell you they love it. And then, or you tell them you love it, and then they're like, hey, can you please leave me a review? Like it would really mean the world for building trust. And then you're
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, of course I'll leave you a review.
Yeah. So for emails, then I kind of want to dive deeper into this too, because it's something that I've been working on for a while, and I think your insights could be really valuable. When it came to emails, like first of all, what tools are you using to put your emails out? Like, how are you generating your email list? What do your emails look like? Like, how are they not just like formatted, but like what kind of value are you putting in there that encourages people to want you at the top of their inbox?
Yeah. I don't do like salesy emails. If I'm ever really selling or asking for reviews, it's always in the PS section. So
Okay.
I'm trying to either, I call these storytelling emails. So it might be like, hey, blank, hi blank, Elina here. I'm sitting at the coffee shop with my dog Oscar, and then I go put a picture of my dog. Like I try to make them really like this is a person to person versus I'm sending this out to like as like a sales email to a bunch of people. So I might talk about like what I'm working on this week, what my like right now it's a little different because I just launched a shampoo. So my last email was about I was just saying thank you to everyone who's left a review and like how much it means for a small brand. I'm like nobody wants to buy a product with 0 reviews. So obviously, so like I appreciate y'all putting trust in me. PS, if you haven't left a review yet, like it would really mean the world to me. And I got a bunch of people who left a review just from like sending something like that. In the future, I want to write more emails that like provide value. So like training tips, things like that, and just like give. And then I know in return, like people will want to also support, right? Like at the end of it, like this is a for-profit business. Like I am selling something, but I am trying to serve the audience as much as possible. So I'm constantly like asking them, like, what products do you need? Because I want to give them things that they actually want and like really good quality stuff. Also, I know they'll buy if they want it. But it's not just it's just like a different mindset than just throwing something out there, selling it, and just writing emails just to get sales. It's just like genuinely connecting.
Do you use MailChimp or?
I use Klaviyo. That's pretty specific to e-commerce. It links really well with Shopify, which is where most e-commerce businesses are built.
When you started building your email list, you were getting emails from Instagram, from Facebook groups, etc. Like, how long do you think did it take you to build like a decent email list where you were actually seeing an engagement?
Honestly, my initial now I have about probably like 17,000 people on my email list. But when I launched my first product, I had less than 1,000. And those people were way more engaged than my 17,000 person list.
Wow, interesting.
I really think I have friends that have launched products with 100 people or 130 people, and now they have, I think he does like 40 to 60K months. So you don't need a big audience is my like point at all, and especially in the beginning, you just need people that are like you need to just communicate with people and get them excited.
It's more about finding the right people rather than talking to a large audience.
Because other people will find you, right? Like for doodles, but the amount of Yorkies and Schnauzer owners that use my product, ton. I've never tried to market to them. Never will. Like this brand is for doodles, but they'll find you. Other people will find you.
Okay. If you were going to do this over again, like if you were going to start from scratch, like let's say you wanted to start a product in a completely different market space, what would your like roadmap to success look like?
First, I'd choose a type of audience or some audience that I can actually speak to. So something it's a lot easier if it's like a journey you've already been on, or like you are this person. Like it'd be weird for me to start a company for divorced dads. You know what I mean? I would be like technically I could, but it'd be weird. I'd also not go like nobody would trust me. I'd also not go too broad. Like if my brand was for even just dog owners in general or pet owners, like I don't think it would be how it is now because my marketing is like, are you a doodle owner? Right? It's like, you're a doodle owner, you're seeing my ad, and you're like, yeah, that's me. Versus, do you have a pet? It's like, cool, scroll. So I would do something that's like niche down enough that I can speak to and I can make content with. So my dog, it's like a lot easier. It's pretty easy for me to make content with my dog. And so people have different things they can make content on. Then I'd quickly start my Facebook group and start running ads to it. On your Facebook group, you can ask people for their email. So I don't let anyone in my Facebook group unless they give me their email, and I run ads to it. So builds up.
How much are your ads?
I run $10 a day, and I get 100 people into my Facebook group. So the ROI is like insane. Now I will say they're not all buyers because getting into a Facebook group is free. So I mean, like like they're definitely not all buying. My engaged list of a little bit are a lot more engaged.
Okay.
Like, yeah. But then I'd also go into just talk to the people who I'm trying to serve and figure out what their challenges are and start creating something that helps with that challenge, but is different than what's in the market. Just like talking to ChatGPT and figuring out, hey, how can I make this a little bit different or better? Or asking even that person that you're serving, like, what do you not like about this product? And just making it better and focusing on the marketing through that. So that's what I would
Okay.
do.
Okay, that helps a lot. I think that really clarifies things. I also want to talk about like bootstrapping your entire business. I think that's really impressive, especially after getting laid off and like still trying to keep a roof over your head. So, you know, how did how did that bootstrapping mentality shape your approach to building your community?
You think really outside the box when you have to bootstrap. I will say that. Like I don't think I'd be going into other people's Facebook groups, DMing people one on one, like grinding
Mhm.
like that if I had a bunch of cash behind me. Um, so that definitely helps with that aspect of it. I will say it's really stressful. When people are like, I'm going to quit my job and start this business, I'd actually advise not to do that. First of
Yeah.
all, it puts you in like, you want to build your business in an abundance mentality. And it's
Mhm.
really hard to do that when you're kind of broke.
Not in abundance.
And yeah, exactly. So like I built my business in the beginning in a very scarcity mentality. So it
Mhm.
made me like grindy, but made me really stressed and put me in my masculine for that period of time a lot. But it also, yeah, there's some decisions that maybe I would have done differently if I was more of an abundance mindset.
Yeah.
Um,
But it's hard to get out of that when you're in that state, you know? And like it's also one of those things where I think in business, like everything happens for a reason. And I think, you know, timing is such an important point of it. And like luck plays a huge role into all of this. And so while, you know, you can look back and say like maybe you would do things differently, but it all brought you to where you are today anyway. And you found success regardless. But if you were to maybe like give some advice about how to stay grounded while recognizing that the situation is tough and like it is what it is and you just have to grind through it and that like there is a light at the end of the tunnel, like what would you say to somebody?
it really helps if you have like a plan or a playbook. And there's you go on Instagram, there's a million different things people are saying how to make money, how to start a business, and they all probably work or a lot of them work. But you need to just like you can't have shiny object syndrome, especially
Mhm.
when you're shopping. Like you need to at least have some sort of plan. Like my plan was just serve the community, figure out what they want, build something from them, and just zone in on Instagram's my only short form, email, Facebook group. Like I'm not writing blogs yet. I'm not trying to do Pinterest. I'm not posting on YouTube. Like
Mhm.
that can happen all in the future. But if you disperse yourself in a bunch of directions, especially when you're bootstrapping, or if you don't have a plan, then you'll start like throwing spaghetti at the wall.
Yeah.
So before you start like quitting your job or something like that, before you really start bootstrapping, just have like at least like have a vision and a plan with how you're going to get there so that you can always get back on the right track. Um, and how to stay
Yeah.
grounded is, I mean, it's tough. It's really tough. It's like, there's even like, I always have ups and downs. Some days my sales are like, wow. And some days it's like, okay, I'm going to lose everything. I think that's just how it is as an entrepreneur. You just go through phases like that. And honestly, not everyone's meant to be an entrepreneur. I like, if this wasn't, I sometimes wish that I could do more of a 9 to 5 job. I just like physically can't. But it's having stability is really nice too. Like it's not, especially in the beginning, it's really unstable. You don't get to go on vacations. You're not like you're really just sitting at your computer grinding Saturday night at 9 p.m. to try to
Yeah.
get this thing off the ground.
Yeah, I talked to somebody one time and I think they said something that really encapsulates this very well. And I say it all the time, like not everybody is meant for this path. It's very difficult and I'll never forget when I was a little kid, my brother's a tech founder, and my dad was like, you have to understand that the path that you are walking is very difficult and it's very challenging. And like, you could absolutely pick something else and find success and have an easier life. But you just have to like be aware of that going into it. But when I talked to somebody the other day, he was saying that like you have to redefine your vision of success almost, where it's like you have to imagine yourself working on the project, on the business every day. It's not about the destination of once the business takes off and it's running and you're living this like super awesome entrepreneurial lifestyle that everybody aspires to have that's been very glamorized. It's about that like sitting at your computer at 9 p.m. on a Saturday. Like you have to love that and you have to want that instead of just thinking about like what comes after that, because to get to what comes after that, you have to go through that first. And like that's I think where the weak sort of get weeded out per se.
Yeah, I think that's beautifully said, because it's definitely people. I do think entrepreneurship is really glamorized and everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. And I'm not like, I think there's beauty also into a 9 to 5. It's totally different. The other thing I just want to add, in the beginning, you're not going to believe in yourself unless you've done a lot of spiritual, I don't know, like very in tune with yourself. I'm not sure. I did not believe in myself, nor any entrepreneur I've talked to. Like, you're posting on Instagram to 0 followers. There's no engagement. You're like, what the hell am I doing? This is a waste of my time. And you basically have to train yourself to believe in yourself. That's what I did. Every day I'd be like, okay, I can do this. I believe in myself. And I would have to literally train my brain. And it gets easier once you start picking up a little bit of traction, or if you are part of a community. Like, I was a part of some entrepreneur community. And so they would see what I'm doing. They're a little bit ahead of me. And they would be like, oh, just keep doing this. Like in 6 months, like they'll give me advice and they'll be like, I can really see where your business can be in 6 months from now. And so that really, really helps, because I think I would have quit multiple times in the beginning if I didn't have people that believed in me, which helped me believe in myself.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I relate to that so much. Like you're shouting at a void and you're like, I swear I'm creating value. Like I promise. Like I'm trying to do something that's going to be really helpful and create something that's like genuinely beneficial. And then to like get crickets back, you're just sort of like, well, nah, okay. Like, and then I think for me, what also helps too sometimes is like I cling to the good like reviews or the interaction that you have with people when they're like, wait, no, that was really good, or like that was super helpful, or like what you're doing is amazing, like keep going. And it's like that I feel like is what I cling to be like, okay, no, this all has to be worth something. Like I think interestingly, there's so much like spirituality in entrepreneurship because it is a consistent game of self-reflection and self-awareness. And also it's like the biggest test of faith. It's like, how much faith do you have in yourself to push through the hard times? I feel like it's such like a microcosm of life. And I think it's one of the reasons I'm so obsessed with it. And it does really require faith when you're hit with everything that's telling you the opposite.
Yeah. I would say it's the best and biggest self-development journey you'll go on. Like me 2 years ago I look at myself, I look at even I don't know, this is kind of unrelated, but the people I date, the things I'm attracted to, it's completely different. Like a lot of my like core things that I'm interested in, or like value and things like that, are just different than, because I'm a different person by going through this journey and like learning to believe in myself. It's like more than just business. It just shapes you as a different human. Like you see how strong you are, and just things like that. It's a really cool journey.
Yeah, and it, like you said, it is hard, but it's so worth it. And it's so fun to see that, because I agree completely. Like I look back at myself 2 years ago and like what that version of me was searching for, and like even just down to like what I was wearing and like just I think there's also you just look back on it and you're like, oh, I was so young is how I feel. Like I feel like you mature so fast through this process.
Yeah, and you meet a lot of really cool people. Like even you doing this podcast, right? This is essentially one of your traffic story. If I was to compare it to this is like this could be like your this is your traffic source and how you connect with people. And so the people that you've met probably through this podcast, you would have never met otherwise. And so it also changes who you are just having these conversations with people.
Yeah, I mean, you're just learning every single day and it like never stops. And it's just a consistent iterative process of like, what could I have done better? Or you spark ideas talking to different people. Like I had an interview yesterday and she was like, oh, you're giving me such a good idea for like this client that I'm working on. And talking to you, I'm having like 75 different ideas. And I genuinely have like wanted to stop and write some of the shit down. So thank God it's recorded because I'm going to have to go back and like try to remember what I was thinking about 5 minutes ago. But it's amazing and it's so helpful. And it's like, as much as we sit here and say like it's fucking hard and it is not for everybody, it is simultaneously like such a rewarding experience.
Yes. Well, yes, it's definitely if you want to grow a lot as a human and get outside your comfort box, a comfort zone. In that sense, I recommend for sure.
Yeah, but like it's funny because I don't know if that's what you went into it for, but that's what you're getting out of it.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like that's kind of the perfect place to close. I think that was such like an uplifting moment that I am personally feeling a little bit of a high from. So thank you so much for coming and sharing your experience and your wisdom and leaving us with that little bit of a fuller cup.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Okay, that's a wrap on today's episode. If you got even one good idea or were nodding along to the episode, hit that 5-star button. You can find all the links to connect with Elina in the show notes. And if you want more founder wisdom, community, and behind the scenes, come hang out at mamir.ink. Until then, I will see you guys next week.